Welcome back, my fantastic friends. Today we are going to look at the old round pound coin. Taking over from the paper pound note in 1983, the old round pound had 25 different designs and was circulated for close to 34 years until being replaced by the most secure 12-sided £1 coin. This new coin entered circulation in March 2017, while the old round pound lost its legal tender status in October of that year. The makeup of a round pound coin is nickel brass. Its weight is 9.5 grams and its diameter is 22.5 millimeters. Its thickness is 3.1 millimeters. Some of the coins we see today are heavily circulated and have some unique scrimps and scrapes. They've been in circulation for close to 40 years. During Queen Elizabeth II's reign, the national circulating coins have featured 5 different portraits of the monarch, 4 of which have been on the old round pound coin, including this one from 1983 to 1984, the portrait by Arnold Machin. 1985 to 1997 saw Raphael McClube's portrait, the 3rd portrait of Her Majesty. From 2008 to 2015 we saw Ian Rank Broadley's 4th portrait of the Queen. And the final portrait of Her Majesty is the 5th one by Jodie Clark, from 2015 onwards. A unique feature of the old round pound coin was that it could have an edge inscription, many of which were in Latin and some in Welsh and Gaelic. I'm not going to attempt any of those languages, so I'll just give you, as we go along, the English translation. An estimated 130 million old round pound coins have yet to be returned to the Royal Mint nearly 4 years after they were withdrawn from circulation. Now, we're not going to look at the complete date run of these old round pound coins, just going to have a look at the designs of them. Starting in 1983 with this one. This is the Royal Arms and the designer was Eric Sewell. It basically depicts the United Kingdom. The edge inscription translation would be an ornament and a safeguard, and in 1983 the mintage figure was 443 million. That's eye-watering, but it had to be to replace all the paper pound notes. It showed its face again in 1993 with a mintage figure of 114.7 million. In 1998 the design was not released into circulation. In 2003 the design was released with a mintage figure of 61.5 million, and again in 2008 with a mere 3.9 million being released into circulation. The next 4 coins to be released are by the designer Leslie Durbin, and this is the floral design with a state diadem around the stem of the plant. This one is the thistle and it was released in 1984. It depicts Scotland. The edge inscription would be "No one attacks me with impunity." And in 1984 the mintage figure was 146.2 million. It was released again in 1989 with a mintage figure of 70 million. 1985 saw the release of the Leek with the royal diadem, and this represents Wales. The edge inscription would be "True I am to my country," with the mintage figure of 228.4 million. Showed its face again in 1990 with a mintage figure of 97.2 million. Again, the designer by Leslie Durbin. This is the Flax Plant from 1986, again by Leslie Durbin, and it represents Northern Ireland. On the edge it would say "An ornament and a safeguard," with a mintage figure of 10.4 million. It was released again in 1991 with a mintage figure of 38.4 million. This represents Northern Ireland. The final design from 1987 is the Oak Tree, again by Leslie Durbin, and this one is representing England. Again, the edge inscription would be an ornament and a safeguard, and the original mintage figure would be 39.2 million. It was released again in 1992 with a mintage figure of 36.3 million. In 1988 we see the shield of the Royal Arms, and this one has been crowned. The designer is Derek Gorringe, and it represents the United Kingdom. An ornament and a safeguard would be its edge inscription, and with a small 7.1 million, this one was a desirable coin, only being released in 1 year. Once the floral and diadem designs had gone round once or twice, it was time for a new change of design, and this is the heraldic emblems. Starting off in 1994 with a lion rampant. This represents Scotland. The designer is Norman Silman. The edge inscription would be "No one attacks me with impunity." In 1994 the circulation would be 29.7 million. The design featured again in 1999, but this one was not circulated. In 1995 we see the dragon, which represents Wales, again by Norman Silman. The edge inscription would be "True I am to my country," and the mintage figure would be 34.5 million. It surfaced again in the year 2000 with a mintage figure of 109.4 million. 1996 saw the release of the Celtic Crossing talk, again by Norman Silman. This represents Northern Ireland. The edge inscription would be an ornament and a safeguard, and the mintage figure would be 89.8 million. This design showed its face again in 2001 with a mintage figure of 63.9 million. Norman Silman's final design was from 1997, and this is the 3 lions, which represent England. The edge inscription is an ornament and a safeguard, and in 1997 the mintage figure was 57.1 million. It surfaced again in 2002 with a mintage figure of 77.8 million. Once the heraldic emblems had gone round again and the Royal Arms had shown its face, a new design was set for 4 years, covering the 4 countries of the United Kingdom, starting off in 2004 with the 4th Railway Bridge. This design is by Edwina Ellis, representing Scotland. It has no real edge inscription in text, but it does have a decorative feature that represents the railways and the bridges and pathways. The mintage figure for this one would be 39.1 million. In 2005 we see Edwina Ellis's Menai Straits Bridge. This represents Wales. Again, no text on the edge inscription, just a symbol of bridges and pathways. The mintage figure for this one would be 99.4 million. In 2006 we see the Egyptian Arched Railway Bridge. This represented Northern Ireland, again by Edwina Ellis. The edge inscription again is just a symbol of the pathways and bridges, and the mintage figure for this one would be 38.9 million. 2007 saw the final bridges design by Edwina Ellis, and this is the Millennium Bridge at Gateshead. This represents England, and again it just has a stylized pathways and bridges around the edge, and with a mintage figure of 26.1 million. In 2008, the UK coinage saw a big change in the designs, replacing many of the Ironside designs for Matthew Dent's Shield of the Royal Arms. This one is from 2008 with a mintage figure of 43.8 million. The edge inscription would be an ornament and a safeguard. It was also released in 2009 with 27 million, 2010 with 57 million, 2011 with 25 million, 2012 with 35 million, 2013 13 million, 2014 with 79 million, 2015 with 29 million. Again in 2015, the 5th portrait by Jody Clark was released, but this was just put into sets, 75,000. And again in 2016, just in sets of 30,000. In 2010 we saw another design that represented the four corners of the United Kingdom, more importantly the four capital cities. These designs were by Stuart Devlin. This one is the coat of arms of the City of London, representing England. On the edge it would say Lord Guide Us, and with a mintage figure of 2.6 million, makes this coin pretty scarce. From the same year, 2010, Stuart Devlin's Belfast design, which has the coat of arms of Belfast on there, representing Northern Ireland. The edge inscription would be, "For so much, what shall we give in return?" The mintage figure for this one is 6.2 million. A year later, in 2011, we saw Stuart Devlin's Cardiff design. This is the coat of arms of the city of Cardiff, obviously representing Wales. The edge inscription to this one will be, "The red dragon will give the lead," and with a low mintage figure of 1.6 million, this definitely is a keeper. Again from the same year, 2011, Stuart Devlin's Edinburgh design, the coat of arms of Edinburgh, represents Scotland. "In vain without the Lord" is the edge inscription translation, and with a low mintage of 935,000, this is definitely the scarcest circulating old round pound. In 2013, Timothy Node's revised floral designs made an appearance, and this is the rose and oak, which represents England. It says on the edge an ornament and a safeguard, and has a low mintage figure of 5.2 million. Also that year, from 2013, we see the leek and daffodil, and this represents Wales. The edge inscription would be, "True I am to my country," and with a similar mintage figure of 5.2 million. In 2014 we see Timothy Node's Flax and Shamrock, which represents the floral designs of Northern Ireland. The edge inscription will be an ornament and safeguard, and the mintage figure is 5.7 million. The final new revised floral design by Timothy Node will be the Thistle and Bluebell, which represents Scotland. The edge inscription will be, "No one attacks me with impunity," and the mintage figure from this 2014 coin is 5.1 million. In 2015, Timothy Node also redesigned the royal coat of arms. This one was released representing the whole of the United Kingdom. The edge inscription would translate to an ornament and a safeguard. There was an eye-watering 130 million of these released. Just remember, 2 years later they would all be withdrawn, and this would be the final round pound to go into circulation. But there would be one more final last round pound. 2016 saw this design by Gregory Cameron, and it represents the four heraldic beasts of the United Kingdom. The edge inscription would translate to an ornament and a safeguard. This coin wasn't circulated, but is reported that approximately 250,000 of these were minted for collectors. Millions and millions of these pound coins in circulation, it was inevitable that some counterfeiters would be up to no good and produce some fake pound coins. In 2017, the old round pound coin got withdrawn from circulation to be replaced by this, the most secure pound coin in the world. Do you have any of the designs that we've seen today? Have you got a full date run? Can you remember spending any of these old round pound coins? I certainly can. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, leave me a nice comment, like the video, and until next time, my fantastic friends, stay safe, take care of the Sen, happy days.